Shalom, shalom, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Pulse of Israel here in our eternal and ancestral homeland, the land of Israel, in our beautiful, biblical, ancestral, and undivided capital, Jerusalem, since King David's time. I'm sitting here with Tim Ballard. Tim is a literal hero who doesn't just talk the talk, but walks the walk. Tim has rescued... How many children have you rescued?
Over 10,000 direct rescues, yeah.
Over 10,000 children. Anyone who has not yet seen the movie Sound of Freedom, well, that's the story of Tim Ballard, former CIA. He's a man on a mission, no longer government, on his own. He has the Tim Ballard Foundation. It just went into Syria, trying to see with his own eyes what is going on with regards to the ethnic cleansing of Druze and Christians and Alawites that the mainstream media and Western governments around the world are silent about, totally silent. So let's hear what Tim has to say. Shalom, Tim. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
So you just came out of Syria.
Yeah.
Where were you? What did you see, and what are your first thoughts?
Well, my first thought is I'm just the disgraceful Western media who will not talk about this, right? And I learned a lot about their intentions in reporting what's happening in Gaza, right? Because, we care so much about these kids, even though they're fake kids, and, where they're showing us things that aren't real, and they're trying to do a mass deception campaign. But their intent was revealed very clearly when you have October 7th on steroids, and not Jewish people this time, but Christian people and Druze people, and they don't say a damn thing. The same human rights organizations that are throwing a fuss about kids in Gaza, which they should. I'm very concerned about the kids in Gaza, not necessarily for the same reasons they are. I think they got the oppressor wrong, but I'm very concerned about them. But I'm concerned about both. They're only concerned about the one that gets them political points or gets them clicks and views. Why the hell won't you even talk? You don't even need to put money. Just talk about it. Do a post or two, right? These kids are being slaughtered, raped, put into sex markets. A baby tossed off of a 5-story building plummets to her death.
You're referring to in Syria.
In Syria. This is all in Syria right now. Christians, Druze, rapes, beheadings. Unbelievable. We have the raw footage from the ground. We're talking to our assets in Shueva, and that's the village, right? The Druze village. 700,000 beautiful people just getting slaughtered and torn apart, and no one says a thing about it. So I just learned a lot. Everybody should have. They're not sincere about anything happening in Gaza. Nothing. If they don't care about this, if there's a double standard, then there's no standard. If you stand for nothing, you fall for anything, and that describes the Western media right now.
Yeah, and I want to go even further, because there are two critical points here that regular people are totally being gaslit about. Number one is the hypocrisy that you're bringing up. The ultimate ethnic cleansing and horrific genocide taking place in Syria. Again, and I say it by the hands of an Islamic jihadi Muslim population there, the Sunnis right now, under Giuliani, a government that the American administration, and again, I support Trump, but this is a huge mistake of his to support this new Islamic ruler in Syria, and the other Western governments are supporting. True ethnic cleansing taking on versus Israel helping Gaza, where they really want to do ethnic cleansing against us and showed it on October 7th. That's point number one. Point number two, and I think you saw this with your own eyes as well, the state of Israel. We're the only country in the world helping the Druze, the Christians, the Alawites against this genocidal death cult that's killing them in Syria. The only country in the world. We're putting our own soldiers on the line in Syria. Not only for it's not for us. We want to help save them, the minorities in southern Syria. And yet the world is throwing us under the bus. Even with Trump's envoy, Tim Ballard, I think his name is, always saying, Israel, stop. Stop doing what you're doing. The only reason we're doing things in southern Syria is to help the Druze, and yet we're getting thrown under the bus. So those are 2 points that really come out in my mind, how the whole Western enlightened world is being gaslit about us. And if I wasn't such a controlled guy, I'd be crying.
Yeah.
Because it's so sad how the story is 180 degrees opposite from reality.
Well, we're told in Scripture, right? They will call good evil and evil good, and that's what we're seeing. I'll say this about Trump. I would give it some time. He's usually, in my experience, and I know him, he's usually 5 steps ahead. Sometimes what he looks like he's doing something totally different. So just wait and let's see on that. But in the meantime, look, to your point, I thought we were the tip of the spear on this operation because no one is talking about it. We go to the border, yell, 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 and finally we get permission. We get in, and lo and behold, we're not the tip of the spear. The IDF has already been there. I was so blown away. Like, this is not the story I've been hearing. I didn't believe it anyway because I'm a student of history and I already knew what was going on. Right. But it didn't surprise me, but it made me very happy to get out there and see these. And they're a volunteer unit of the IDF, medical, soldiers and so forth, out there saving Christian lives and Druze lives. No cameras, no limelight, just doing it because it's the right thing to do. And they did the same thing, by the way. I think it finally leaked out. I knew it was happening back in 2000, after 2014, 16, 17. I was in northern Iraq helping extract the Yazidi and Christians from the other, Islamist jihadist occupation of Mosul in that region. So we already knew what to expect and what to look for. But what I didn't necessarily expect was getting deployed to the front line and finding that I'm shoulder to shoulder. Actually, I'm behind, being led by an amazing group of Israeli IDF volunteers who are doing it because it's the right thing to do, and they're doing it. And then the other thing, before we went into Syria, and I'm hoping to reframe this so that the Western media can, those who want to, most of them don't want to. They want clicks and views, right? But those who want to be truth seekers, look at the Druze people, right? I didn't really know much about them, but I spent a lot of time, right? Before we made entry into Syria, we had to understand the whole cultural, political, socio-political situation. So we spent a lot of time in the Druze populations, which is about 200,000 here in Israel. We met with the religious leader, Tarif, and we learned all that we could. And these are wonderful people, and they're a minority group, obviously, and they love Israel. So I'm asking myself, well, how is that possible? If Israel's a land-grabbing, predatory state, why on earth would a minority group love them so much? Because they love each other, they protect each other. Most of the IDF soldiers I've been working with are Druze, right? And this one soldier came to me. We were at the Druze kind of headquarters, right, up north, and he came to me in tears. He's a surgeon and an officer, Druze, and he's crying. He was crying. He said, "Please go back and tell your media, like, I was in Gaza. I'm in Gaza. We love people. We love children. We want to help them." And he's like, "I was in a house forward deployed, and we were getting hit by the jihadists, by Hamas. And we wanted to strike back, but we didn't because we knew that they were using children as human shields. And we refrained so we wouldn't hurt them. I mean, just like they took on Iran, this horrific oppressive regime, and they still do target laser GPS hits, right? They're trying all they can to not have collateral damage. They send leaflets out. We're going to bomb. We have to. We got to get our people back." Yeah. And I want Americans to know this, right? Like, first of all, if you just look at it from a secular position, and there's some even conservative politicians calling for withdrawing aid from Israel. Like, just from a strategic place, look at Israel, self-interest. It's a military base for the United States. We have a military installation in the most difficult place in the world, where more people per capita want to kill us than any other place in the world. And do you know the weapons technology that we get from Israel, that we get like it, nickels on the dollar? And because you guys are inventing this stuff because you need to invent this stuff, and this sounds very self-interested, and for me it's not. I'm just trying to talk to the secular side. Guys, not only do we get this equipment, but it's battle-tested equipment. Yeah. Okay, you can't buy that. So you want to give that up just on a self-interest level. Take out the spiritual side, which I can't myself. Take out the doing what's right side. Take out the biblical and history behind the entire story. The 1,400-year struggle that this is, that began 3,000 years ago with a real covenant that covered this land. But But just take that away, and you're stupid, stupid, stupid to try to not be allies with Israel, just for a self-interested national security point of view. Now you open it up to bigger things, okay, more important things, like the Druze people. Why do they love Israel? How come Israel's not trying to push them out of their lands if that's who they are? You're repeating it. No, in fact, you know what Israel's doing? They protect them. But you want to build your city bigger? Here, we'll help you build it bigger. And in fact, after you're done building it, we're going to build a base outside of it to make sure no one hurts you. That's who Israel is.
Yeah.
That's who Israel is. That's the Israel I learned when I went into Syria, and they're there, no fanfare, no cameras. I said, well, I'm going to be your camera. I'm going to tell the story because my country is going to we're going to be next. Yep. It's already happening. The seeds of evil have been planted, embedded, as they take advantage of our beautiful political system of democracy. They're using it against us and using wokeism and leftism to infiltrate every level of government and society and media. And it's just a matter of time. World War III's already begun for us. Yeah. But it's what I call neo-unconventional warfare. They're using every tactic, psychological, cultural, demographic warfare tactics, and it's just a matter of time before the whole thing blows up. Yeah. And watch Israel, because that's the map. What happens here is going to happen there. Yeah. And we're dumb and lazy and stupid and awkward and just like, blah, blah, how many clicks can I get by saying Israel's the bad guy? Yeah, it's very frustrating. But I'd want to tell people who want to cut aid, okay? Imagine this. You got to go per capita, right? If you go per capita, a ratio kind of. What happened on October 7th is a kid in the United States, let's say 1,000 Nicaraguan thugs cross the border, kidnap 20 million Americans. For us, that's the per capita. Yep. 20 million Americans get kidnapped. Your children. So I'm thinking of a congressperson who just told us, and I love her, okay? Her name's Marjorie Taylor Greene. I love her. It's hard for me to do this. I love her. She's a huge supporter of our movement, and she says withdrawal aid, genocidal maniacs, whatever she's saying, and it's like, okay, Congresswoman, what if your children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews were amongst those 20 million? They got taken back into Nicaragua. They're putting them in tunnels and buildings, using them as human shields. The thugs are behind them and saying, what are you going to do? What would you do? Anything. Yep. You would do anything. You know what I would do? Exactly what Israel did. I would send leaflets out and say, you better run for your lives because we're coming to get our kids. And we're giving you a fair warning. Okay, you don't want to leave? I'm sorry, but I'm taking my kid back. My kid is being raped. My kid's being beheaded. My kid's being sent to a sex market. I'll do anything. Okay, I'll send the leaflets out like you do. And if you don't want to listen, then we're going to come in and get our kids. And by the way, right when we're done doing it, whatever collateral damage, watch for the parachutes bringing in food and supplies for you. When has that ever happened? Never. Okay, again, Americans, go back to World War II, because that's a frame of reference, okay? So World War II, the Nazis come and bomb the hell out of London, okay? Oh, hell no, we're going to come get you. Hell yeah, we're going to go get you. We bombed Dresden, okay? Guess who died in that? Horrible. Women, children, innocent babies, blown up, okay? I don't think anyone saw parachutes of food immediately. I mean, the Marshall Plan, 4 or 5 years later, great.
Only after victory.
After victory, in the middle of the conflict, you're going to start dropping. What the hell is going on? Why can't we? It's so obvious, right? Yeah. And then the other concept, I'm already well studied on this, so I already knew the answer. But this was my first time in the Holy Land. Okay, I can't.
Welcome.
And thank you. And the first thing I thought, I started learning lessons right away. I land, I get out of the airport, and I look around like, holy crap, there's land everywhere. Beautiful land, empty everywhere. And you're trying to tell me that Israel is so predatory and gross that they just want this little piece of crap, no disrespect, this little strip of land that borders Egypt? No, they don't give a crap about that land. Oh, we need it so bad. Go back to 96. I got to give credit to Bill Clinton right now. Not my favorite president, but I actually think in some ways he was great. But he's being great right now. I don't know if you're watching him. He's being honest. So he gets up on the stage just like a couple weeks ago, and he's like, oh, I'm going to talk about Palestine and Hamas. Oh, yeah. The crowd thinks he's going to start ripping on Israel. Right. And he says, he literally goes in his hand, he goes, stop. In other words, you're not going to like what I'm going to say because I'm about to be honest. He said, in 96, I negotiated between Ariel Sharon and Yasser Arafat, who, by the way, is not Palestinian, he's Egyptian. Okay.
96 was
Oslo.
Oslo is 93, so it's
okay.
it's like grabbing in Africa, yeah.
Okay, so whenever it was in the 90s,
Yeah.
and Bill Clinton said, look, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. Yasser Arafat's a liar.
Mm-hmm.
He told me we're going to sign the deal. You know what we offered them? All of Gaza, the vast majority of the West Bank, and for good measure, we threw in 4% of
Israel.
any part of Israel. You pick. Lots of land. You pick. They offered that to him.
Yeah,
Okay, and then Arafat said, I'm going to take the deal. I'm going to take the deal. And then Clinton said, and he lied to me. He didn't take the deal. And then I had no choice but to conclude, this is Clinton, no choice but to conclude that they don't care about that land. They care about killing Jewish people as part of a sick ideology. Boom, drop mic, over. That's Bill Clinton right now saying that. And that's the truth. It's not about land. This is not about Israel. Oh, we just need that little strip of land down there. You got so much land you don't know what to do with it here. And it's so gross. They are trying to destroy you. And I'm very sad that your earlier political leaders conceded some of this land, these beautiful Christian lands. It's pretty offensive to me. We don't have Bethlehem anymore. We don't have Jacob's Well anymore. They almost took the patriarch,
Tomb of the Patriarchs in Hebron.
Someone almost, I think Rabin or someone almost gave that up.
Yeah.
Like, guys, come on, stop. Don't stop with your beautiful optimism. It's not about that. You give them something, they say, "Oh, thank you. I'm one step closer in my jihad, and now I have a closer shot at your head."
Yeah.
That's what's going on, and it's not like it just started. It's a 1,400-year history. It's never stopped.
Yeah.
It's not like we don't have data points to confirm a conclusion today.
Yeah.
It's never been. It's people try to frame it like, "Oh, this is some new spin-off of." No. This was born 1,400 years ago, and it's never stopped. They've always done it. Okay, I don't care if you say, well, it's only 20% of 1.8 billion. That's still 200 million people. Yeah. That's enough to call it a nation state, or a nation, not a state, right? It's a threat, and I've never seen something so obvious that it's been so twisted to make evil good and good evil ever. I've never seen it.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling to me.
Yeah.
But here we are, and here's why I care. Here's the thing about me. I don't have an agenda. I'm not a politician. I don't like politicians. I think it's compromising just to attempt. I don't work for a media agency that's paying me to do. I have two people I carry water for: God Almighty and children, and that's it. So when people lie about the situation in Israel, you make our job harder to rescue children. That's the truth. Because at the end of the day, if this is a spiritual war, which it is, and the great Satan, who's real, I know this because I've looked at him in the eyes. I promise you,
Literally.
It's real. Literally, I have. So I know that's real. If that's true, he wants to punch God in the face. He can't because God sits in his sovereign throne. But the closest thing to God are what? Children. We're all made in the image of God, but children have a special image of God. So of course, Satan's going to hit the heck out of children. And so why is it that every ideology, I don't care what it is, you can call it political Islam one day, you can call it Maoist China another day, you can call it Stalinism the next day, you can call it Nazism the other day. At the end of the day, it's the same Marxist spin-off of oppression. The enemy of God is oppression. And they all do the same thing. And you know what they all do? And I'm one of the few that can see this. All those regimes have many things in common, but one gross thing in common. They all allow or facilitate the rape and abuse of children. That's always, why is that? Because it's a spiritual war, and that's Satan's ultimate goal, punch the kids. But they've never been targeted, ever, in the history of the world, like they're being targeted right now, children. So I come from a place of purity. If Israel's the bad guy, I'm going to call it out because that's going to get in the way of me fulfilling my mandate under God. If Israel's the good guy, I'm going to say it's the good guy because truth leads to child rescues. And I'm telling you, Israel is the good guy in this conflict. There's not a more obvious conclusion in any geopolitical conflict in the history of the world that the Jews and Israel are the good guys in this conflict. It's so obvious. And it infuriates me because my country is about to go down over this deceit campaign that's being launched and bought and paid for by the very democracy that's going to fall apart because of it. It's crazy. I don't know what to do.
Right. No, we're here with our. So you know what? I'm gonna take that powerlessness that you're referencing right now, and jump to the spiritual, because both of us are believing spiritual men. And I think ultimately, you know, and I know, and many of your own followers know, because I've been following you, that they understand this spiritual war, and we got to get this message out there as much as possible. Before I jump to that, first of all, thank you so much for your voice. First of all, I mean, even though, yeah, you're saying this is about me, even though this is not your fight, standing up for the truth for Israel is not your fight. Saving the children is your fight, but going necessarily into Syria is not necessarily your fight. Still, you're doing it because it's you. It is your fight. I just want to give you a couple of supporting data points for what you were saying yourself. First of all, in terms of you saying we're in the midst of a 1,400-year-old religious war. It's a religious war that the Muslims know they're fighting. The Jews have no clue we're fighting it. The Christians have no clue we're fighting. So we're in a religious war where the only religion actually fighting it is the one on the offense, and those who are supposed to be on the defense have basically say, come at me, because we have no clue what's really going on, right?
Not only come at me, but come on in.
Come on in.
Come be my guest. Have tea and crumpets on the table. That's what we're doing.
Exactly. Okay? So I'll give you a data point to that. At protests, anti-Israel, pro-genocidal protests against us, there is a chant that is chanted all the time. And I don't know if you've ever paid attention to this or you've heard it. Kaibar, Kaibar, Ya Yehud. You ever heard that? Look out for this.
Translated.
Kaibar, Kaibar, Ya Yehud. Kaibar is the name of a Jewish village in what is today Saudi Arabia. Ya Yehud, screaming out about the Jews. And this is what Muslims chant, referencing the massacre of the Jewish village of Kaibar back in the 7th century. So today, you have Western educated college students screaming on US, Parisian, London, Canadian college campuses, a chant celebrating the successful ethnic cleansing of a Jewish village, not now, 1,000 years ago, the 7th century. And that's the data point proving your point, that, and for everyone, and I talk about this all the time, we're in the midst of a 1,400-year-old religious war to take over the world and destroy the freedom-loving West, which is based on biblical Torah, God-given values. And unfortunately, the Jews and the Christians are asleep as we open up the doors for, and again, there are plenty of wonderful, wonderful Muslims who are not part of this. But so long as Western governments allow and are tolerant of those of the hundreds of millions that support the Islamic Caliphate and jihad to take over the West, doesn't make a difference. They're the ones that are getting away with doing what they're doing.
And to your point, can I add?
Yes.
Because we have to go back in history to understand what's happening, okay? So there's one region that political Islam has always tried to get a hold of, right? They're born in Arabia. They take the the Gulf states. They take Persian states. They run into Africa. Boom, 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 take it all, and then they've been trying to get their hands on Europe since 722 AD. That's been their goal. They got Spain for about 500 years, but the Christians pushed them out. And then we have these revisionists saying, "Oh, the beautiful Andalusia time period. We all lived in harmony." No, you didn't. They were wreaking hell and havoc on those people. Okay, it was the same thing they always do. The same thing they do in northern Iraq, right? In 2014, either convert, pay the jizya tax, or die. Yeah. Go read the true history of the beautiful time of, Barack Obama gets up there, and of course he's one of the facilitators, and he repaints 500, 600 years of history, saying, "Oh, what a beautiful time when everyone came under Islamic rule." It was not beautiful. People were being raped, beheaded. At best, they were subjects of political Islam having to pay the jizya. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah, jizya.
Unbelievable, jizya. Okay, so
that's a tax non-Muslims have to pay if they want to live.
Yeah,
in a sense.
And then you call that peace?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Anyway, we can get more into that. But the point is, God triumphed there. You had some amazing people, from King Pelayo in Asturias to El Cid to the Queen Isabella, woman of God, right? Boom, 1492, they get them out. Send Columbus to preach the word in South America, same month. Unbelievable. So, the Ottoman Empire jumps in. What do they want? Europe, Europe, Europe. They get in a little bit. This is interesting because I've always been bothered by World War I, and I still am. Why? Why? It was a total ridiculous, no reason war. But there might have been something to it because World War I ended the Ottoman effort into Europe.
Yep.
So all these moves to take Europe, take Europe, take Europe. If we get Europe, boom, onto America. Right? They've never been able to do it in their 1400-year jihad. They've never been able to take Europe. And so they sat back and said, okay, let's try something. Let's try a different tactic. Let's do a soft occupation. And that they are winning.
Yep.
Right now.
Yep, that's the Red-Green Alliance.
The Red-Green Alliance is happening.
America.
And it's the most awkward, like just completely bizarre. You got AOC in the United States draping Palestinian flags over American flags. Go, political Islam. Yay. Wait a minute. AOC, what the hell? Like, do you have no brain cells left? Like, they stand for everything you claim to stand against. Yeah. They want to kill gays. They're anti-LGBTQ. They oppress women. And you're like, yeah, bring them in. And you have these awkward things happening, right? Where the LGBTQ show up at these pro political Islam rallies and they don't know what to do. Like, yeah, we're with you, but you want to kill me, but blah. They're just it's just a spiritual
like chickens for KFC is what people say.
Exactly. It's unbelievable. And it's happening right now.
Right.
And they're taking over. They're taking over. Look at I don't think England's going to come back. I think Belgium's gone. France, I think, is gone. I mean, they already
Germany,
and they're running roughshod over the United States right now.
Yeah.
And we're about to have our first, political Islamic socialist mayor in New York City. And I'm just looking at this going, you guys can't see this? This is not new. You have data points going back 1,400 years. They've been trying to get this land forever, and now they've figured out how to do it, and we're a bunch of dupes falling for it.
Right.
And if we don't turn around, that's why I tell people, watch Israel. If you don't even know who the good or bad guys are, we're screwed. Because our future, our game plan is being played out right now. We get the advantage of watching you guys.
Yep, I'm always telling everybody.
Like, watch here, because this is coming to America.
Yep, I always tell people, do not support Israel because we need your support. We have God looking after us. We're going to survive whether we have the support of the world or not, right? That's the point. But you know why you have to support Israel? Because we are the front line of the whole freedom-loving world. And if you don't support us, the jihad we're up against, tomorrow, it's going to be eating you alive.
100%.
So that's why you have to support Israel.
And it already is.
Right, so now I want to give you something else, because something that's really, really hurts and is painful to me is seeing the growing voices of the conservative, even Christian right in America, turning on Israel, thanks to voices like Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, and many of these other influencers who are popping up, using biblical language, using Christianity to turn their own fellow Americans against the Jewish people, against Israel. And I want to use a quote. I don't know if you know this quote. I think it was former Secretary of State Alexander Haig, who, and this is following information you were given before, Israel is important to America in a geostrategic level because it is an Air Force carrier. It's similar to an Air Force carrier where American soldiers are not being sacrificed at all. And the amount of financial worth that Israel gives to America is in the trillions of dollars, way beyond the financial military package that so many Americans, including the conservative right, are turning on us thinking, oh, we give you aid and you're doing these things. And Americans have to know, do you know how much you are getting from Israel that is assisting America? American technology, American military, American intelligence that's saving Americans so many ways. And Americans have to understand this and get out of the talking point of turning them against us because, oh, America's giving aid to Israel. But no. For every dollar Israel gets, it's spent. First of all, those dollars go back to America. 100%. And then you get interest beyond that dollar value. So now I want to go to the spiritual, because ultimately, and again, as you mentioned this today, we are in a day where too many people are being hoodwinked and gaslit to believe good is evil and evil is good. And if I wasn't a believing man, I would be like up in arms, like what's going on? But because I'm a believing man, I believe, no, these are exactly what the prophets told us what would happen in the redemptive times. There would be such confusion that people would see good as evil and evil as good. And those are the times that, yes, the Jewish people here, back returned as sovereign in our ancestral homelands, We will save humanity, those who want to be saved and join with us. And now's the day where everyone, especially, again, I would ask you to continue pumping out to your followers who themselves, many are believers. There is a reason God told Abraham, and it's repeated in the Bible, those who bless Israel will be blessed, those who curse Israel will be cursed. And anyone, please hold on to that the next time you hear the lies and the brainwashing that are trying to turn you against your Jewish brethren, because we are brothers, and against the Jewish state of Israel, which is the front line of the freedom-loving world today. So any assistance for you to continue pushing all those messages out there?
I have no choice. I have no choice, because at the end of the day, I have to meet God, and I know that by lying about, I just take it granular to my mission. Lies about Israel makes it harder for us to rescue children, period. And because at the end of the day, if we lose this battle and we're all slaves, who am I gonna rescue? I will have no one else to rescue, because we're all gonna be slaves.
Right.
We can't rescue everybody. We already can't rescue the ones that are our slaves, right? Yeah, I've never had an interview where it's the preaching to the choir back and forth. We're one mind here.
So now I want to finish on one final point that you actually brought up, and this is going back to your persona, to your activities in saving the children. You literally said you've seen the eyes of Satan.
Yes, sir.
In your work. And again, by me following you over these years, part of what I see in you saying the eyes of Satan, I know the powerful people, organizations, governments that were working against you in trying to save children. Can you go a little more into depth to explain for people to actualize what you mean, actually looking into the eyes of Satan, where people can see where it actually exists, even though we're all in our mind of our lives of trying to get on with our lives and thinking everything's out there and everyone's looking out for us and I'm just going to take care of my children. But what we're really up against on the actual practical level, which has a spiritual backing to it, because I'd love to hear that.
I'll just, I was raised very spiritual. I was raised under, deep, spiritual roots, scriptural based life. But my spiritual sensitivities came into sharp focus when I spent Center of Freedom got me out of undercover work, which I'm grateful for, because I probably never would have left, because that's what I'm really good at. Because I understand the spiritual world. I can look into someone's eyes. I've had to, for survival, I had to learn how to work with angels, basically, okay, to rescue kids. And I got to the point where I can just look at someone's eyes, and I see the eyes are the window of the soul. I can see the demons. And not so much by what they say, but just looking at them like, okay, I know who you are. And I know what I have to do and what I have to say to you to rescue these kids. And more people are possessed than you can imagine, right? I mean, you understand the people we end up, this is black and white over here when they're doing it right in your face, and raping kids and bragging about it, okay? But it's not so easy when you get into most of the countries we work in. I mean, the United States is probably the highest child sex demand in the world. And these are professionals, they're teachers, they're doctors, they're lawyers, law enforcement. And so if you don't have that spiritual sensitivity, you're going to lose every time.
Did you also come up to politicians involved in it? Connected to it or defending it?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. That part I can't, because it's so sensitive and ongoing, I can't talk much about it. They tried to destroy my life after Center of Freedom. I got too big, and Center of Freedom put us on the map in a way threatening way. And in 23, I was at Bedminster with Trump, screening Center of Freedom, had meetings with his people. They wanted me to run for Senate. I did not want to, because I can't rescue kids from that place, from those government handcuffs. But he wanted me to campaign for him too about the southern border, because I'm an expert on the southern border. I spent 10 years as an undercover operator fighting child trafficking on the southern border, and that was the big issue, of course, and it should have been, and it is. Right. And we're about to go fix that right now, by the way. But so Congress they were passing the Center of Freedom Act. Kevin McCarthy, Speaker of the House, was submitting the bill, and it was all about going to the southern border. And within 3.5 weeks, of those things being leaked to the public, well, I got a phone call from a political insider who I trust completely, and he said, "You're about to have a bag of bricks dropped on you. These people just put $10 million into making sure that you don't become senator and making sure the Center Freedom Act does not come into fruition, because it was going to expose what is the biggest scandal in American history, I believe. What happened to those 400,000 children between 2020 and 2024 that were let in and just delivered with taxpayer dollars to the local pedophile. Zero background checks, unbelievable. And if we expose that with me, the tip of the spear, it's all coming out now. So they did everything to destroy me and my family. They compromised all the people around me. Only 1%, literally 1%, I call them the 1% integrity club. Only 1% stayed with me. Everybody else turned on me under threat, because they're cowards, under threat of, I got to find out, by the way, who would have hidden Jews in the Holocaust. I got to find out who would have worked with Harriet Tubman on the Underground Railroad, because my situation was way less significant than that. And I picture these people did this to me, like, you're the guy who would have come out to the Gestapo, oh, there's Jews hiding here and there. That's who they are, right? This guy here is on the 1% club, okay? This guy stayed with me the whole time because he knew. He sees the world like I do spiritually. But it was him and 3 other people, including my wife. That's it. Everybody else, all my friends, no, I'm not going to get sued. It's obvious who stayed out of the lawsuit. My wife was sued for sexual assault, right? If you stay with Tim, you get sued for sexual assault. And the cowards who stand on the wall and say they're not, they're the biggest cowards of all. And they ran from me. And I'm just one person, but they knew I was attached to a mission, and so they abandoned countless children so they could stay out of a lawsuit or get money. There was bribes. It's all out now. The media hasn't been honest enough yet, but I'm not worried about that because it's going to come out. But no, there's bribery, coercion, everything you can think of. So elements connected to the government and governments did everything to destroy me. But by the grace of God, we won. And now we're better than ever. So now we're their worst nightmare.
Right. And
now they can't try it again very easily.
So my follow-up question to that is, believe it or not, I've been on top of this issue for years. And I know in the first Trump administration, he was working on this secretly against the sex trafficking of children.
I was involved with
it. And then that all stopped when he lost the election and the Biden administration came
in. And then it went 180.
Right, exactly. Meaning it got worse, folks. You got to understand these are government levels. Tim's not giving the details. This is really bad. So I want to give you the opportunity to help viewers understand, what is Trump doing now? It's the second administration. He's working on this. I know he's working on this because it's a huge problem.
Bigger and badder than ever.
So can you help people understand what this administration is doing about this issue? When, again, you know and I know, and you know even more than me, how important and how damaging and how many children are in part of this sex trafficking, pedophile, whatever world, and what Trump is working on.
I'll say what I can. I'm in the middle of it.
Yes.
So I'll say what I can. I'll say this. From my perspective, okay, so Center Freedom Act in 2023 is about to come out, right? Just in time for Trump to win and deploy it. Its focus was the border, but it went beyond that to other areas, from the foster care system to, it goes deep. It keeps going, okay? And again, I see the world as you do through spiritual eyes. I got knocked off my horse because of the Center Freedom Act. Okay, well, now that we won, and General Michael Flynn is close with me. Right when this happened, he called me. He's like, okay, I know what you're going to go through. You got to be, you can have a choice, Tim. You're going to either crumple up and die, or you're going to come out being someone you never dreamed you could be. And you got to make that choice, and it's going to be hell. Because he went through it.
Yeah.
Same enemy.
Yeah.
We are both extensions of Trump.
Right.
He was going to expose what we're talking about. He understands the world as we do. Like, he understands what I call, they call 5th generation warfare. I call it neo-unconventional warfare. He understood it, and they had to get him out of there. They did everything. They're all being exposed, from Obama to Schiff to Clapper to Brett. They're all getting exposed right now, right? It's the same enemy. Yeah. I was an extension of Trump for all things trafficking on the border, so they needed to take me out too. But unfortunately for them, General Flynn and I believe in God fully, and he pulled us through. So now we're back together. So if we got knocked off our horses over, in my case, the Son of Freedom Act, if I if I'm victorious, praise be to God that we were,
Right.
what does that mean? That means that Sound of Freedom Act's coming back. But this time, it's not just a nice little mare. It's a big white horse with 10 wings. Understand?
Yeah.
Spiritually.
Yeah.
So rest assured that the Sound of Freedom Act is coming back. And the people that got involved with what is a grand conspiracy, criminal even, they thought they could get away with, if I get caught, it's civil. No, boys, it's criminal at this point. You have election interference, you have, bribery, coercion, you have, when you lawfare someone at a grand scale, every cog in that wheel is now criminally liable. They didn't realize that. And it's out of my hands anyway at this point. I'm going to rescue kids. So they're going to have to deal with what they're going to deal with. But what they did was an affront to the U.S. government. What they did was an affront to a bill being passed by Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy called the Sound of Freedom Act. That's what they were attacking. And it doesn't matter if you knew it or not. If you did something illegal and unethical in furtherance, it's called RICO, right? It's conspiracy. It's racketeering. And all that, others will take care of that. But I can rest assured that whatever plans we had in 2023 are now injected with a spiritual steroid that you can't imagine. And that's all I'll say. But I'll tell you that the team I have with me in Syria is the same team that's going to lead the charge on the new and improved, resurrected Sound of Freedom Act. And we are going to get those kids. We're going to return them to their families. And we've been working on it for some time, and it's about to, parts of it are going to become public, and a rallying cry for truth and freedom and children and rescue. And hopefully we can parlay that into bringing light to every other geopolitical issue, including what you're doing with here.
All right. Well, first of all, I just want to say, I don't have the presumption to say thank you on behalf of humanity. Seriously, what you're doing on so many levels is needed by humanity, whether people understand it or not. And it's not just about the children. Because again, I know, and we're trying to hint here, the level of evil that exists at the uppermost levels of our existence today in politics is beyond evil. And what you're working on is, please God, and with Trump at the helm pushing it, it's going to bring down so much of that evil, expose so much of that evil, and change things for the better for humanity. So thank you very much. Not just saying this as Avi Abelo, not just as a Jew, not just as an Israeli, because it impacts everything. It impacts everything. This getting rid of and exposing this evil and everything behind the sex trafficking and pedophilia, etc. So really, thank you so much,
Thank
Tim.
you, man.
Really,
Thank you.
it's a blessing
Let's pray
to
for each
meet
other.
you.
We're gonna pray for each other forevermore.
Amen. Let's keep and something I learned and I repeat everywhere: the most important blessing. If someone only had the ability to ask for one blessing, you can only utter one blessing. What should that blessing be? God, please bless me to strengthen my belief in you.
Yes.
Because the stronger we hold on and strengthen our belief in God, we're able to get through everything. That's the pinnacle. That's the linchpin of everything. So may God continue to assist you. May you continue to work on your belief and do all the work, the amazing and important work you're doing. And again, and thank you also, like we started the conversation, in terms of standing up for the truth about Israel, for humanity, for morality, helping as many people understand that Israel, yes, we are the front line of the freedom-loving world. You want your freedoms in America, you better stand up with Israel and look for the truth and search to listen to the truth sayers and get rid of and stop listening to the people blasting all these lies. And like Tucker interviewing a nun blasting lies, a Christian nun blasting lies. It's just so sad, so insane, but everyone should just look for the truth. Listen to Tim Ballard. Stop listening to Tucker. Don't even go there anymore.
Can I just comment on that interview real
Please.
quick? Guys,
Please.
listen. I don't know why Tucker gave voice to a disinformation campaign. But look, it's very easy to explain. Okay, what this nun is claiming is that somehow you're persecuted. It's laughable because I've worked in all these Middle Eastern countries, and you're supposed to feel the most unsafe of all the Middle Eastern countries as a Christian here in Israel. Are you freaking kidding me? I wear my cross hat everywhere I go because I'm safe here. I wouldn't put my cross hat on many places Outside
the Arab
of
Muslim Middle East.
Even in Europe, I'd be afraid to wear my cross hat more than here. You protect the Christians. And what he's talking about is just ass-backwards logic. Okay, what she's saying is, in the occupied territories, the Christians are getting hurt. Jacob's well, Bethlehem, so on forth. Okay, let's talk about Bethlehem for simplicity.
By the way, my porch, I overlook Bethlehem into Jerusalem.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I live in Judea, in the Judean Hills.
Beautiful. So I was sitting over Bethlehem a few days ago. And look, what's going on is, in the 80s, Bethlehem used to be 80% Christian. Today it's less than 10%. Why? Because they were pushed out by political Islam, not by the Jews. They're pushed out by political Islam. Now, those brave Christians, for whatever reason, for good, bad, or insanity, who are in that less than 10% still in Bethlehem, and there's a flare-up, as there always is, a jihad and an aggression. Of course, they're going to protect his house, okay? They're going to protect those outside of Bethlehem. And so there's going to be conflict. And there could be collateral damage to those Christians, good, bad, or ugly, or insanity for why they're staying there. I'm not going to judge them, but they're there, and they might be collateral damage. But to pretend that the intent of the IDF is to target Christians is insanity. It's insanity. Might they get hurt? Yes. Okay, let's go back to a reference we can kind of understand, World War II. Okay, let's say that you're a Christian living in Berlin, and you want to get out of there because you know that Marxism isn't good, socialism isn't good for Christians, so most of them are going to get to safety. But there might be a small percentage of Christians who want to set up a tent near Hitler's headquarters, okay, for whatever reason. So when the Allies come and bomb and the Christians get hurt, that sucks. We're so sorry, we didn't mean to hit you, but you were there, okay? What Tucker is trying to allow you to believe is that the intent, okay, it's like saying the intent of the Allied forces was to hurt Christians. Baloney, okay? The intent was to hurt Nazis, okay? But they were there. And so you ask backwards the whole thing with this nun, and that's what she's trying to convince you of. It's not true. The opposite is true. Just because there's collateral damage doesn't mean the intent was the collateral damage. It's never the intent. Does that make sense?
100%.
And that's it, guys. It's 100%. That simple. Why Tucker's giving voice to insanity, it breaks my heart how you can even believe that a Christian could be persecuted here. I mean, Bibi just said it, and he's telling the truth. He said, we cherish the Christian sites. I just visited the Garden Tomb. I visited Gethsemane. I visited Sea of Galilee. Okay, these are spiritual places for me. I'm very protected to do that with my cross hat on. I feel safer as a Christian here than I do in parts of the United States. I would rather wear my cross hat here than New York City, than London. I promise you, I'm safer here. And then you're going to tell me that I'm safer in Iraq or Lebanon? Lebanon used to be 80% Christian, but political Islam pushed them out. Now they're a super minority. It's very sad because they don't believe in a pluralistic society. Sharia is one way only, okay? And you're forced to convert or die or pay a tax. So it's such baloney. It's literally the manifestation of calling evil good and good evil. And I love Tuck. I don't know what is going on with you guys. Yeah. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. And the one data point that I like to say to put this all together, there's only one country in the Middle East, only one country, where a Sunni Muslim, a Shiite Muslim, a gay Muslim, a female Muslim, an atheist-born Muslim have freedom and equality with Jews and Christians and all other minorities, and that's the Jewish state of Israel.
100%.
That's it!
That's it, guys. And 20% of the Knesset, guess what, is made up of that demographic that he just told you, because it's pluralistic and free.
Yeah. Tim Ballard, thank you so much for your voice of truth, spirituality, and your action that goes along with it. May God bless you and all of your activities and your team. And let's keep on seeing unbelievable headlines after the successes.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
Everyone signing off for another episode of the Pulse of Israel here on our eternal and ancestral homeland, the land of Israel, and our beautiful, biblical, indivisible capital Jerusalem since King David's time. If you are not yet a subscriber, what are you waiting for? Go to pulseofisrael.com and click to subscribe for our politically incorrect truth that is so needed in this world of lies today. And yes, we are a donor-based organization. If you're able to, every once in a while, just click on the donate button on pulseofisrael.com. Shalom, everyone, and thanks for watching.
Pulse of Israel, frontline videos from the Holy Land. Support our work by donating today.